One of the dangers in U.S. politics is looking across the Atlantic to Rome and trying to come up with a way to map or graft our politics onto the Pope. Well, it doesn't work for a few reasons, as Catholic Secretary of State Marco Rubio said late last week over Patriots' concerns about the church and immigration.
Secretary, it was announced today that you're headed to Rome for the Pope's inaugural Mass. Pope Leo, in different parts of his life, has spoken passionately about the plight of migrants. How do you reconcile what the Vatican has said on compassion for migrants with the Trump administration's policies?
Well, first of all, the Pope is not a political figure. I know he's covered like one, but they're not. They're the earthly head of the Roman Catholic Church. And the Church has strong social doctrine teachings, and I think there is not incompatibility. We too are compassionate towards migrants. I would argue there's nothing compassionate about mass migration. There's nothing compassionate about open borders that allows people to be trafficked here. There's nothing compassionate about either to the American people about flooding our country with individuals that are criminals and prey on our communities. There's nothing compassionate about any of that. But I would caution all of you and everyone, I understand there's this temptation to cover the papacy as a political office. It is not a political office. It is a spiritual office. And it is one that it has a social teachings that are aligned with the faith and with the gospel. And but I don't believe those are incompatible with a national policy that tries to prevent mass migration, which is not compassionate to people that are being trafficked into our country, and is also not compassionate to people in the country who suffer gravely. When 1 million people come here illegally, if 1,000 of them are dangerous criminals, those are a lot of victims, and that's not fair either, and that's not compassionate. So, by the way, I mean, and I don't mean this to be snarky, but the Vatican has rules about who can come in and who can stay. So every place has that. It's what you do to protect your sovereignty. We are the most compassionate nation in the world. Every single year, 1 million people legally migrate to the United States permanently. Permanent residency. No other nation is nearly as compassionate as we are. We've been doing it for a long time. But it can't be 5 million people a year that come, with 4 million illegally. That's just not sustainable, and there's nothing compassionate about it for Americans.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the replacement Catholic politician. The next generation of Catholics busy sweeping aside the likes of Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Dick Durbin, and all of them. Those aged-out Catholic politicians were part and parcel of the distortion of Catholic social teaching, emphasis on distortion, stretching back many, many decades. The Woodstock Catholics who came of age in the 1960s. With men like Rubio and, of course, Vice President J.D. Vance, the old guard is just being swept away. An old guard that used their Catholic credentials to support the murder of 70 million preborn babies and counting. And they did it for nothing less than political power. Modern-day King Herods. Well, their time has now ended. Enter the authentic Catholic politician, leaders who can explain their Catholicism through the prism of politics, but still keep it resolutely Catholic. Trump 2.0 has ushered in much more than just a golden age of prosperity. He's also ushered in the golden age of clear Catholicism in the Capitol. Coming to you from Houston, Texas, yeehaw! I'm Gary Michael Voris. God love you.